Hey everybody, this is the fashionista, Marek Brave, and you're listening to the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Welcome to the family.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here tonight. Talk about SCWPro's 15th anniversary event this Friday at the legendary Co-Ballroom.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, big event this Friday night, SCW's 15th anniversary. And you were there from the beginning, weren't you, Mary? You were at the first anniversary event. You've been there for all of them.
Yeah, I was there from day one. SCW original right here. I wrestled in a big battle royal at the first show, teaming, I guess it was every man for himself, but me and my tag team partner, Keith Wholesale, we were a part of a tag team called Aisle 9. We were the wrestling grocery store boys, and we were both eliminated from that battle royal by one Mean Mason Beck that night. So, yeah, that was my first experience in SCW. That was my first experience on any professional wrestling show anywhere, actually. So this Friday night will be my personal 15-year anniversary in the professional wrestling business, as well as SCWPro's 15th anniversary too. So,
congratulations!
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, definitely. So, speaking of Mason Beck, he'll be defending the SCW Championship this Friday night against Shane Hollister. Was Shane part of the first?
Yes, he was. Yep, Shane Hollister. I forget who he wrestled. I know he had a match outside of that battle royal. I forget who he wrestled. It might have been his friend Ben Insane, or could have been Static. The how do I put this? The addicted SCWPro champion at the time. He had a dependency on a substance, some sort of chemical dependency. But his name was Static. I don't remember, but yes, Shane Hollister.
Super Soldier Serum?
Yeah, now I'm
like Captain America?
Now
is that...
I'm wandering off here, but yes, Shane Hollister was a part of the first show as well. So two SCW originals going to battle in the SCWPro Championship match this Friday.
Yeah, what does it mean? What does it mean to be able to see those guys in that match at this caliber? And it's two guys that have been there since the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it speaks to their ability to captivate an audience, their ability to be successful in this business, and their ability to each individual man can hold himself up and have a rightful claim to being the best professional wrestler in SCWPro today, because they've done it for 15 years and they've consistently proven that they can be at the top of this company. And I'm just excited to see both of them go at it and see who comes out on top.
Absolutely. And we wouldn't be talking about SCW anniversary without talking about that huge 5-on-5 tornado tag elimination match. Two ring war.
Two rings.
Yeah, I don't know.
Too much action for one ring.
I don't know if we've talked about this enough, but I think fans should be excited. This is the first time in SCWPro history we will have two rings side by side. All 10 men can utilize both rings in their tornado tag team match. It's going to get wild. It's going to get crazy. All of these guys are Black and Brave Wrestling Academy graduates, so they know each other very well. I know them. I know their strengths. I know their weaknesses. It's going to be crazy seeing what kind of stunts these guys pull out, seeing just to what level they take the action to. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be wild. That's our main event. I didn't want to have to put anything on after that because the building might not be standing after that one's over.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And just seeing kind of how Night Wagner's taking those guys, the Revolution, and just sort of how much roles have changed just over the course of the summer, and seeing how these teams have kind of come together organically over the course of the summer. It's definitely interesting to see all those guys in the same ring and finally get an equal match with 2 rings is all that could possibly contain it. What are your thoughts on that?
And when it comes down to it, I mean, this match is about supremacy, and it's about who is the stronger group in SCW, and I think it's going to be great to actually see that finally put to rest.
Yeah, these guys have been going at it. Singles matches, tag team matches, even 6-man tag matches throughout the entire summer. But this will be the first time that all 10 men will be in the ring at one time, in 2 rings, actually, at one time. And no matter what happens at the end of the night, one team is going to be able to lay claim to being the superior team in SCW Pro. So we'll see it all go down Friday at the legendary Cold Ballroom.
How many referees are we going to have assigned for that one?
I believe we will have 4 referees, including Mr. Jon G himself, for the entire event, and we'll utilize all of their skill sets for our main event because we're going to need them.
Yeah, we're going to need them. Another big match I want to talk about. We just found out this week, officially, Nevin Knoxville accepting the challenge of Krotch for what has been declared to be Nevin Knoxville's last match.
Yeah, we'll give it up for him.
Love
I'll give it up for him.
yeah.
That's a 15-year career for Nevin Knoxville. He also debuted at SCW's first show and is an SCW original. So that's a 15-year career. That's a nice solid number for the veteran Nevin Knoxville and Krotch. You know, a lot's being said about Nevin Knoxville in this match, but Krotch, we need to talk about him as well. He's a former SCW champion in his own right. He's been with the company for nearly the entire 15-year history, not technically an SCW original because he started at the second show, not the first show. But, I mean, technicalities aside.
Got to draw that line somewhere, though.
Yeah,
You got to draw that line somewhere.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, he is an SCW original. He's been around for nearly 15 years. And these 2 men are going to go at it. And this was kind of Krotch's doing. He heard that Nevin Knoxville was retired. Nevin Knoxville had stated that he would no longer wrestle for SCW or for any company ever again. He stated he was done with professional wrestling. But Krotch knew he needed a way to get on to the 15th anniversary event. He knew that this was going to be our biggest event that we've ever put on. And he knew that the biggest event in SCW history needed the biggest competitor in SCW history, and that's the 7-foot-tall Nevin Knoxville. So Krotch, slight in stature as he may be, he laid the challenge out. He kind of coaxed Nevin Knoxville out of retirement, and we get to see these 2 men go one-on-one at the Cold Ballroom. And I know both of these guys very, very, very well. For nearly half my life, I've known both of these guys, and I know both of them have the skill set. They have what it takes to put on an amazing show. So I think there'll be one winner in that match, but there'll be hundreds of winners in the audience when they get to see those 2 guys go at it.
And it's fair to say their relationship has gone up and down over the years. They've tagged together. They faced each other before as bitter rivals after that tag relationship dissolved. What kind of a match are we going to be looking at here? Do you think it's just going to be like a wrestling clinic, or do you think there's going to be some vengeance?
I think, well, I mean, as with any wrestling match, you don't go into it thinking that you're going to injure your opponent. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to out-wrestle them. You're trying to best them within the rules of the contest. But, with that being said, there's testosterone involved. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a certain amount of animosity when one guy starts to pull ahead of the other guy, and you never know what can happen when those things get thrown into the mix. You never know. Nevin Knoxville, is all smiles right now, but he doesn't have the greatest history as being a guy who likes to do things within the confines of the rules. If you take a look back at his 15-year career, so you never know if Krotch, a little bit of ring rust too could come into play. If Nevin Knoxville is starting to feel that ring rust, you never know what kind of dirty tricks he might pull out if Krotch starts to get ahead.
But then again, he's a 7-footer, so He's just got to drop that
size advantage.
He's got to that big boot could go a long way for him.
Yeah, very interesting dynamics to that matchup. Very excited to see these guys go at it. But no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw, Nevin Knoxville has stated this is his last match in SCW Pro. This is his last match in professional wrestling. So win, lose, or draw, at the end of the night, we're going to have to give him a standing ovation for a very, very successful 15-year career.
Excellent, definitely. One match I also want to talk about, and this is something I found out on Twitter. Well, I knew that Jared Thumb and JP Finger would be challenging Vicious and Delicious for the SCW Pro Tag Team Championships. I didn't realize it was the anniversary last year when Jared found out that was his last match before he was diagnosed with cancer. So to be able to be back at anniversary a year later, back in the Call Ballroom, and to be able to, go into this match challenging for the tag team titles, what an emotional night for Jared, and what a great opportunity for Thumb and Finger, who have really kind of shown Vicious and Delicious over the course of the summer that while they might be goofy, they definitely deserve to be taken seriously in the ring.
Yeah, what an honor to lose to Vicious and Delicious on this night for him.
Come on,
Well, you don't know that. I do believe.
What an honor.
I do believe Jared and JP, they were successful and victorious over Vicious and Delicious. The last time we saw these four men in the ring together, and that was at the Walcott Coliseum just a few short weeks ago. Yep. So you never know. If that happens again, we could be looking at new SCW Pro Tag Team Champions. But back to your original point, Alex, yes, it has been a very much an up and down year for Jared Thumb. Everything he's went through over the last year surely has toughened him, has hardened him, and has prepared him for this moment. Because, listen, if you can kick cancer's ass, then you can kick anybody's ass, and that includes Jah-C and JT Energy.
Jah-C!
Yeah. Well, they'll be looking to kick the 6-star booty and capture those tag team titles. I'd be curious, and I don't know, we'd have to get Commissioner Sean Morrow on the horn. I wonder what implications that would have for the Rain and Veil.
I was hoping that you would bring that up, because I actually talked to Commissioner Sean Morrow this week, and we were discussing that, and I asked him what his plans were if JP and Jared were to take the tag titles off of Vicious and Delicious this Friday at the legendary Cold. The same SCW Tag Team Championship match that they were to receive against Vicious and Delicious, they will still challenge for the SCW Tag Team titles. No matter which team is victorious this Friday, they will still challenge for the SCW Pro Tag Team titles on September 8th at the Harvest 2 in Dubuque at the Joliet Event Center. We will still get a big tag team title main event no matter who's victorious this Friday.
Absolutely. I know a couple fans had asked me about that, and that's why, it's a good thing that you had talked to Commissioner Morrow about that, because some fans had asked me, what are the implications for the tag title match if Thumb and Finger win?
That match will still happen. So you'll either see Reign Victoria and Valentina Loca versus Vicious and Delicious, or the ladies will take on JP Finger and Jared Thumb. But either way, the ladies will still get their tag team title opportunity.
I imagine they'll be watching that match very closely, because those are two very different teams to prepare for.
Exactly.
All right.
They're ready no matter what, guys. What do you mean?
Well, absolutely.
They're ready for anything. We've seen them in action together. It was incredible as a first outing for a tag team.
Yeah, no,
incredible.
If you were there, those girls, they had the belts won.
Yeah.
They had those titles won.
I called it out, and then referee Larry Lemons basically reversed the decision. So
John, you gotta get on this Lemons character. He's perfected the art of the referee botch over the last few months, and
yes,
I know.
There's a lot of paper in his file.
Yeah,
there's a lot of paper in his file.
As senior referee, he is under your tutelage, and so far he's had a handful of balls, and he's just dropped all. I think we need to tighten the ropes, tighten the restraints, and make sure that Lemons maybe squeeze them a little bit more, and see if the pressure will turn that coal into a diamond.
If you're listening to this, Lawrence, it is another warning. Stay on top of things. Stay aware.
Come on, Lemons, we need you.
Absolutely. Need great officiating in SCW for all the great action. One more match I want to talk about. We'll probably get around to talking to all the matches that have been announced, because Commissioner Morrow has really announced a lot of matches for this show, which we don't always have.
I've seen the final card, and I believe nearly all of the matches have been announced. I think he's got a couple surprises up his sleeve. But yes, SCW Pro fans, you have a fantastic event in front of you this Friday, and missing this, that's not something you want to do. That'll be the biggest mistake you make all summer.
Absolutely. One match I want to talk about, the QC Cup, Bradon McBride with Miss Olivia defending against the Rock God Ronnie Burton.
Ronnie Burton is a beast. There's a lot of words you can use to describe Ronnie Burton. Beast, monster, rock god, metal god. He knows how to lay the lumber. And I think Commissioner Sean Morrow has seen how Bradon McBride has been treating his newfound valet, Miss Olivia, and I don't think he's taken too kindly to it. So he wants to prove a point. He wants to teach a lesson to Bradon McBride, and he's putting him in the ring with the rock god Ronnie Burton. And if I were McBride right now, I'd be shaking in my boots a little bit, because all things outside of Ronnie Burton being just a massive human being, a massive individual, certainly much larger than the champion Bradon McBride. Also, there's not a lot of tape on Ronnie Burton.
Right.
He's only wrestled for SCW Pro a handful of times, so there's not a lot of opportunity to study your opponent, to scout your opponent, to find his weaknesses, and to try and exploit it. So, and we haven't seen Ronnie Burton in about, I would say, 4 months. Yeah. We haven't seen him since April. So who knows what kind of shape he's in now? Who knows what kind of tricks are up his sleeve? Who knows what kind of new abilities he's acquired over the last 4 months? I think it's a wild card, and I really think Ronnie Burton has a great opportunity to walk out of the Cole Ballroom with the cup in hand. And he said he will rename the QC Cup, the New York Cup, the NY Cup, and take it back to his home state of New York and defend it there. So could be an interesting night for one Bradon McBride.
Well, you can call Ronnie many things, and you definitely detailed a lot of things about him, but there's one thing you can't call him, that's champion. And you can't take that away from McBride. He's got the cup. He is going to be defending it, and he defeated Manders for it.
He certainly did.
So you can't discount him. That ripcord knee, it can deliver.
You don't want to discredit anything Bradon McBride has done. By hook or by crook, he's gotten the job done. He's held on to that cup. You're right, he did wrestle it away from the former Iowa Hawkeye football star Steve Manders, and he is the holder of the QC Cup at the moment.
Yeah.
But you're right, we can't call Ronnie Burton a champion as of today, but we'll see if that changes at the end of the event on Friday.
Definitely. And what do you think? How does Miss Olivia factor into this? How does she...
She has to factor in somehow, because for some reason, she seems like a lovely girl. She's very sweet, she's very nice, she's very kind, but for some reason, she's fallen for this dweeb, this kind of...
Hell of a salesman.
He's a salesman. He's kind of a jerk, too. I mean, if we're...
He's smart.
Definitely a jerk.
If we're being real about it, Bradon McBride is kind of a jerk, okay? And he's a jerk to the fans, and he's a jerk to Miss Olivia. But
somehow he sold her, though.
Yeah, I suppose...
he's a salesman.
Sometimes the girls like the bad guys, right? So she's kind of transfixed with Bradon at the moment. He doesn't treat her the way he probably should treat a woman like Miss Olivia, but you're right. She is a wild card in that match, and she's willing to do what Bradon tells her to do. So if Bradon says, grab the cup, throw it to me so I can hit so I can hit Ronnie Burton with the cup, she'll do it. There's no doubt in my mind she'll do it. That doesn't make her a bad person, but Bradon, Bradon, he has manipulated her. Bradon McBride has manipulated Miss Olivia into doing whatever he asks, okay? I don't know how he did it, but he did, and at this point, yes, I do believe she would help him cheat to hold on to the cup. But hopefully, through time, she can see Bradon McBride's not a good guy, and there's plenty of other guys out there, plenty of other guys on this roster who she may better pair with as far as a valet and wrestler do.
Absolutely. And then the one match that we have to talk about, it's not officially for a title, but it's sort of for perhaps for the title of King of Scott County.
There can be only one.
Very interesting.
Very interesting match. This one kind of popped up on us recently.
Yeah.
I thought everything was good in the kingdom of Scott County. I thought Vilhelm, Amory, and King Stephen Youngblood were getting along. I thought they were on the same page, but it seems that Vilhelm has kind of gotten a bit jealous of the spotlight that has always been shown on King Stephen Youngblood and not on Vilhelm, and he's decided that he wants some of that limelight for himself, and he attacked Stephen Youngblood. He stole his crown, he stole his robe, and he's proclaimed himself the new king of Scott County.
Hearing that scepter hit, it popped like a son.
He broke it on his skull.
The noise.
He broke it across his head. There is no more scepter, but he stole the crown and the robe. He's in possession of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's interesting because you say that he was tired of seeing the king in the spotlight, and I feel like from my perspective as the ring announcer, he was the one that put the king in the spotlight. He was the one that Kate took the mic from me and said all those things of the Duke of Donahue and the Lord of Longgrove and the Master of Moline
you think he decided to do that? You don't think the king maybe told him to do all that?
He did it.
I think he's probably doing what he was told. Everybody hates their boss, man.
I think Vilhelm is a rat. He's a snake. He's a weasel. He did what Stephen Youngblood told him to do. He did what the King of Scott County told him to do, but he only did it because he knew that was how he could get himself on the SCWPro events. And he knew, I think he has had this planned for the last year and a half. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he was waiting for the right time to do it, but I think he knew all along that he would turn his back on the King of Scott County. I think he knew all along that when he was firmly entrenched as a member of the SCWPro roster, that he was going to turn his back on Stephen Youngblood, that he was going to go solo, and that he was going to try and use Stephen Youngblood, King Stephen Youngblood, as a stepping stone, which is what he's trying to do now, which is what he's trying to do on Friday. And if he wins, hell, I guess he was successful at doing so.
Fair enough. One more thing we definitely need to talk about is the Hall of Fame inductees for this year. And I've said that even just in the last 2 years, I feel like the Hall of Fame has become such an important part of the anniversary event. Obviously, the first year, yourself and Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, to those fans who don't know. Although if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know.
You probably know.
It's probably
you probably know. Tyler Black and you, Marek Brave. And then last year, Danny Daniels and the Shug, Shane Hollister going in. This year, I'm so excited for the class, the Glamazon, Bobbi Dahl, and Leon Vader White. What are your thoughts about this, Marek? Your reactions to these Hall of Fame inductions?
I think it's great. Like you said, the SCWPro Hall of Fame is, this is only our third year, but the members that are already in there, the members that are already in the Hall of Fame at this point, do make it a big deal because, and I'm not just talking about myself, obviously, but having Seth Rollins in there, having Danny Daniels in there, having Shane Hollister in there, those three guys, and then when you add myself into it, we're pretty damn good, all right? Again, not trying to toot my own horn, but we're pretty good. So to join the ranks of these men and to have Bobbi Dahl and to have Vader join us in the Hall of Fame, that's fantastic, and I'm happy to open the doors, open my arms, and welcome these two men in. Some would say the two best big men in SCWPro history. Vader was only around with our company for a short time, but he left such a big, no pun intended, such a big impression upon the SCWPro locker room. So much so that we took a picture with him at the end of the night. Everyone who was on that event gathered around, and we took a picture with Vader at the end of the night, and you can find that on the SCWPro Instagram if you'd like to see it. But he was a joy to be around. He was a tremendous person, a tremendous man. I spent a lot of time with him over the 2 or 3 days that he was in the Quad Cities. We ate food together. We talked together. We talked about the business. We talked about his matches, his stories. He asked me about mine. We had a lot of conversations about the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy. We had a lot of conversations about just SCWPro in general. And he was always very easy to talk to, very quick to offer advice, and just teaming with him that night was one of the highlights of my career, and I wrestled for over 14 years, so very excited to welcome him into the Hall of Fame. And then Bobbi Dahl, somebody who was around from nearly the beginning as well. And he had many outstanding matches. He actually might have more SCW tag team title reigns.
I was just going to say, is it 3 or is it 4?
Anyone. I think
it's
I'm
3.
a pretty bad historian. I'm not very good with stats as far as wrestling goes. But
Fun Incorporated. You've got Buff Enough, and I think that he and Tank.
Ray Boy as well.
Well, that's saying Fun Incorporated. Him and Ray Boy.
Oh yeah,
Sure. Sorry, so I think those 3, and there might be.
And then I think he might have held the tag titles twice with one team. So I do believe he's a 4-time tag team champion, which would make him the most decorated tag team performer in the history of SCW Pro. And if that doesn't scream SCW Pro Hall of Fame, then I don't know what does.
Sure. Then the other thing we absolutely have to talk about is the huge special guest that we're going to have a part of this event.
Well, what are we a half hour into this and we haven't even talked about it?
Wait, there's more? I almost mentioned it earlier.
But
I thought we'd bury the lead.
Well, excuse me.
Wait, there's more?
Excuse me, yeah. WWE legend, former general manager of Raw, SmackDown, Vicky Guerrero, the wife of the late great Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero, member of the legendary Guerrero family. Such a huge opportunity.
And with the Women's Revolution happening and the Evolution pay-per-view coming up here in a couple short months, how wonderful is it that we have our first female special guest for an SCW Pro Show that we've ever had. So we're very, very, very excited to welcome Vicky Guerrero to Anniversary on Friday at the legendary Cole Ballroom. I met her when I was down in Florida during WrestleMania weekend at WrestleCon. Her table was actually directly next to the Black and Brave merchandise table, and she couldn't have been more sweet, more caring, more just talkative and inquisitive and interested in what we had going on. She was a wonderful neighbor to have at the WrestleCon event, and at that moment I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if we could bring Vicky Guerrero to SCW Pro? And so when Commissioner Sean Morrow was deciding who would be our special guest for our 15th anniversary event, I mentioned all of that to him. I brought up the name Vicky Guerrero, and he agreed. What a wonderful time to bring our first female special guest, to bring a member of the legendary Guerrero family to Davenport, so that all of our SCW Pro fans could celebrate that and also get an opportunity to meet her, find out how wonderful of a woman she is, get an autograph, get a picture. She may have been a bad guy on TV sometimes, but when you meet her, you'll find out that she truly is just a wonderful person.
All right.
Kayfabe.
So Marek, you recently had neck surgery, and from the looks of things, it was very successful. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I had neck surgery on Monday, August 13th. I had my C5, 6, and 7 vertebrae fused together. I was under for about 3 hours. Initially, it was supposed to be 2 hours, but they had me hooked up to some neural monitoring system. And what they do for that is they just put a bunch of needles on a bunch of different nerve ways throughout your whole body. So I had needles on my arms and my legs and my feet and in my head, on my skull. And since they're doing a surgery so close to my spinal cord, if there's something going on there that is stressing out my nerves in my neck, it'll manifest itself as twitching in my other extremities. So sure. Apparently when they put the one plate on, because they wanted to fuse all of them together with one plate, that stretched out my spinal column too far beyond comfort, and I just started convulsing on the table too much. So they had to pop that one off and instead put 2 smaller plates in there, one over the C5 to C6 and then another one over the C6 to C7. So I have an additional set of screws and an additional plate in there. So otherwise, apparently, I could have gone home in a soft collar instead of a hard collar, which obviously you guys see now that I'm wearing, but listeners may not. I am in a very very restrictive hard collar at the moment. But other than that, everything went well. I woke up from surgery, and literally the only thing that hurt was my throat. I felt like I had strep throat because of the breathing tube that they put down, but then also because when you do spinal surgery, they make their incision on the front of your neck, and then they go through the front of your neck to get to the spine. So they had to move my esophagus out of the way and different muscles and whatnot all out of the way so they could get to that. And I believe there's some bruising right now, which is why my voice may sound a little bit different than it normally does for some of you who have listened to me on previous podcasts. But so other than the bruising in my throat, my neck feels pretty normal. Now, normal for me may be different than normal for an average human being, because I've lived 11 plus years of my life with neck pain because of a neck injury I suffered in Florida in 2007. So the discomfort that I would have been in if I had just had some sort of freak injury and went in for emergency surgery, that would have been a little bit more uncomfortable if that were the case. But since I had dealt with the neck pain for over 11 years, I was kind of used to having pain in my neck. So that didn't bother me when I woke up, and it hasn't really bothered me since. So they gave me some pretty strong pain medication, but luckily I've only really had to take that at night to help me fall asleep, because unfortunately I have to sleep in my recliner, in my hard collar, on my recliner, in an upright position for the last 8 nights in a row, which has been it's been a little like taxing, like a little physically taxing. All my other muscles are a little sore, and then it just like gets on you, drains on you emotionally, where you're just like, man, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to fall asleep like a regular human being in a bed on my side or on my stomach. But unfortunately I haven't been able to do that. But I have my post-op appointment where they'll take x-rays and see if my fusion has taken. And if it's going well, I'll be able to get my hard collar off at that point. So that's another incentive to come to the SCW 15th anniversary on Friday at the Cole Ballroom, is you get to see me, maybe. No, definitely. I'll be at the front taking tickets like I always am. You'll get to see me in a hard collar looking like a sad little puppy. So bring me gifts to make me feel better. I don't know. I don't really need anything. You don't need to bring me gifts. Just come to the damn show.
Lozenges. Bring him lozenges.
Yeah, that's really where the pain lies. But so it's been a long time coming. I definitely anticipated getting this surgery. I probably should have had this surgery in 2007. I certainly should have had this surgery in 2017. I was diagnosed with herniated discs in my neck in February of 2017, 2 months before my last match at the Cole Ballroom for SCWPro. Excuse me. So they told me at that time I needed to get the surgery. I was certainly at risk of paralysis, among other things. So I told them no, because I'm a stubborn professional wrestler and decided to do things my way. I wrestled a couple more matches with the neck injury and tried to do it as safely as possible, as safely as a professional wrestler can do anything, really. And then retired, bowed out from the competition aspect of professional wrestling, focused on the school, focused on various other endeavors within the professional wrestling world, and outside of the professional wrestling world. I may be able to come back on this podcast in a few months and talk about some other projects once I'm able to talk about those things legally. I've signed too many non-disclosure agreements.
I definitely want you on for that, because I know
guy's in bad shape.
Sure, but I've been focusing on other things and a little too busy to really take the time off to do this, but it looked like summer break 2018 was the time to do it. Got everything scheduled and went under the knife. So hopefully everything heals properly and I'm able to live a proper life, a pain-free life from here on out. But we'll see how this all goes, and we'll see what's in store once I do finally heal up.
Well, this being a podcast, they can't see you, but you look just like Marek Brave, but with a neck brace.
Just
like
with
completely the same guy you're used to seeing.
Yeah, I got out of the
hospital. Just
hospital.
with a neck brace. Like, there's no difference in his demeanor whatsoever.
I got out of the hospital and went down to Black and Brave Academy, and Krotch was working. And I popped in, and I was like, "What's going on, you son of a bitch?" Bleep that if you need to. And he was like, "What the hell are you doing here? Didn't you just get neck surgery yesterday?" And I was like, "I'm checking in on you, making sure everything's going all right." I sat down and talked with him for a little while, and then left to go rest. And I did rest and rehab for the next few days on my own. But I don't know. I guess I still have that old wrestler's mentality where you're not slowed down, you're not hindered, you're not stopped by injuries. So yes, I had an injury. I wrestled for 11 years with that injury. I had a surgery to correct that injury, and now it's back to business as usual. So I will be at SCWPro on Friday in the neck brace. I'll be at SCWPro on Saturday at the Alternating Currents Fest for our 3 p.m. show and our 5 p.m. show. I'll be there, and then you'll see me on September 1st in Iowa City, September 8th in Dubuque, and September 15th back in Walcott at the Walcott Coliseum. I'm not going to take any days off. I don't miss SCW shows for anything, and that's included a lot of different things over the years. The birth of my second son, this endeavor that I am not legally allowed to talk about. I came back early so that I could be at an SCW show, and now through neck surgery I'll be there as well. That's just part of the deal. That's part of pro wrestling. The train rolls on.
Absolutely. So you talked a little bit about the new Black and Brave school. Do you want to maybe tell us as much as you can about kind of how that opportunity came about? And
yeah, I mean, when we first started 4 years ago, we were very happy to partner with our friends QC CrossFit, who later became the foundation. They have a Moline location and a Davenport location, and their Moline location is quite a bit larger. So we found ourselves in a corner of the Moline gym, and we were very happy to be there and happy to partner with our friends at the foundation. But we just kind of outgrew that spot. We had enough graduates that there was more than our first class. We ended up with 3 students, so there was 2 trainers and 3 students by the end of that class. That doesn't really take up that much room, but by the end of the 10th and the 11th class, we had full classes of 10 to 12 students, 14 students, and then we had 20 to 25 graduate students showing up every day, and that was just kind of a lot of space to be taking up in a gym that has its own business. They run their own deal. They run their own CrossFit gym, and they have their own. It's their space. We were just renting a portion of it. So Seth and I just decided it was time for us to finally have our own spot, and that was a goal from day one. We had initially thought about just getting our own spot when we started the first class, but it just worked out better to rent the space of another gym just until we kind of got into a groove and figured out the best way to run operations for the school. But we outgrew it, and we decided that it was time for us to get our own spot, and we also felt that it was very important for us to get into Davenport because we both live in Davenport. Obviously, Seth reps Davenport wherever he goes. When his music hits and the from Davenport, Iowa, every single time he comes out, he reps Davenport, Iowa. So it was very important for us to get back into our community, our hometown of Davenport, Iowa, and take our operations there. And in doing so, we renovated a building in downtown Davenport that was built in 1919. I don't know if any renovations had been done on it since then, judging by the condition the building was in when we first took our initial visit. But we put a lot of money into that. Seth put a lot of money into that, getting that renovated and up to code and up to standard, and getting that basically up to the standards of Black and Brave. So if you've seen any pictures, or if you've had a chance to stop by, it's a really cool building. It's got a nice kind of a rustic feel to it, an industrial feel to it. We got exposed brick in there. We have a nice granite countertop for our coach's desk. We have a TV that plays WWE Network 24/7, unless somebody's not in the building, then we turn it off because you have to conserve electricity. Come on, man. Do what's right for the environment. We have a wrestling ring in there, and then we have gym equipment as well. So we've kind of turned that into our own little CrossFit gym, and anything that you could do at our old spot at the Foundation of Moline, you can do now in our new spot. And with us having our own spot, it allows us more opportunity to make our own hours and do things our own way. So in the old spot, we used to have our practices Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, and we still do that at the new spot. But at the old spot, we would have open ring hours for our students who had graduated. They could come in and they could work out, or they could work in the ring on their wrestling technique during those times. But there was only 2 to 3 of those per week, and each session was 2 to 3 hours at a time,
Yeah.
which is still good,
Yeah.
but it wasn't what we wanted. So now we are open 6 days a week for 6 hours at a time, and so now you have 36 hours a week where you can work out or you can work in the ring on your wrestling craft, and that doesn't even include the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights that we train our new class, our current class, which all graduate students are always welcome to come and help out with that as well, and work out during those hours and whatnot. So all told, you have a total of probably 48 to 52 hours a week that if you're a graduate of ours, you can be spending on professional wrestling and becoming a better professional wrestler. Like I said, we have the network on the entire time we're there, so you can watch wrestling, you can work out, or you can wrestle, and you can get insight and knowledge from veterans like Krotch, myself, and two-time WWE champion, two-time Intercontinental champion Seth Rollins. That's a pretty unique experience that we're proud to offer, and that's all made possible by us acquiring our own spot, and that being in downtown Davenport. And us doing so, we aim to just kind of clean up the downtown Davenport area. And don't get me wrong, City of Davenport has done a great job doing that on their own over the last few years, but we're trying to help in our own small way by expanding that renovation towards the west side of downtown Davenport and not just keeping it isolated on the eastern side of downtown Davenport.
Right, and it's well, my place of work has just moved into a new building, and we're about 2-3 blocks away from you. And so I was walking downtown, and I walked by and
peeking in the window.
Was not peeking in the window.
We got plenty of peekers. Don't worry
peeking
about it.
Peeking in the window, standing in the
Actually,
back. Yeah, you just happen to have some 8x10s with you.
Didn't even know I was
Brave.
walking by the new building.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a new building. Didn't know I was walking by. JP Finger was working out and came out and talked to me.
No, see, this story's totally fake now.
I
hear this is
I
fake
told
now.
you those guys had a real shot at those tag titles. JP Finger was working out.
He was
working on his craft.
He was watching TV.
He was in the gym, and you know what? He might have been learning by osmosis. We don't know. Okay.
So you're walking along, JP Finger.
JP Finger comes to the door and said, "Hey, McCarthy, what's up?" And so I went over and talked to him, and Krotch was there, and Krotch came over and said hi, and I got to kind of didn't come in the building, but kind of peeked in the doorway.
They gave you the next slash.
No, it's great.
Inside.
It's awesome to be down there. It's a really cool spot. It's cool for us because, you know, we get to listen to our own music and we get to make our own rules, our own hours. We get to watch, you know, the WWE Network on the TV, all things we couldn't do in our old spot. And like I said, we're very grateful for the time we spent with QC CrossFit, with the foundation. But, you know, all good things come to an end, and we decided that it was best for us to open up our very own location, and hopefully we can keep that going for many years to come.
And it's great for the city of Davenport. They've had the largest economic and renovation boom that they have in 80 years in the last 5 years.
Good.
It's, like the whole city is really renovating, and this is just a piece of it.
This is just a part of it. I mean, even
renovating the building rather than knocking it down is perfect.
And I don't think I'm giving away any secrets here, but also Seth has decided to open up a coffee shop right next door to our wrestling school. And so he's renovating another part of downtown Davenport, and that was always the goal. From starting Black and Brave in the first place, was just to give back to the community, whether that be, you know, the Quad Cities, the Davenport community, whether that's the independent wrestling community in the Midwest or in the United States as a whole. And in fact, it's turned out to be an international affair as well, because we've had plenty of students from Australia and Germany and you know, England and Canada and different places. So we're trying to give back to the independent wrestling community all over the entire world, and just make sure that people are learning the right way, doing things the right way. And you know, we don't guarantee anyone a WWE contract when they come through our doors. We don't say you'll finish 12 weeks here and then we'll call Triple H and he'll sign you to an NXT contract and you'll take a picture of him with his giant head next to you backstage at a takeover. Triple H, not giant head as in he's an egomaniac and full of himself. He just has a very large head for a human being.
Oh my God.
The circumference of his skull is...
He has a very large everything.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Guys, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging.
No, I've met Triple H. Did you hear that name drop? I've met Triple H. He's a great dude.
Every time you do it, I hear it at the ground.
he's a great guy. I know he gets a bad rap among a certain segment of wrestling fans, and I think that's kind of changed over the last few years with NXT really becoming such a solid product like it has been. But he's a very, very good dude, very smart businessman.
And so he gets a contract to graduates?
So yes, he's guaranteed. No. There's no guarantee that you'll get a contract with WWE, with NXT once you finish our 12 weeks, but there is a guarantee that you will have all the tools in your toolbox to get started on your journey. And if that's your goal in the future, that's a good first step. And it's not bad to have the connections that we have either.
It is the first feather in many of your graduates' caps, but it's not the only feather. They go to other classes, they go to other schools, and then come to Black and Brave. You've got to build accolades in this industry, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's all about who you know. So, like I said, it's a good idea, and it's a good thing to have us on your side. Obviously, having somebody like Seth Rollins on your side. In a business that a lot of your success is based on who you know and the connections that you've made, having Seth Rollins as one of your connections, not a bad idea. So that's a unique thing that we can offer that no other school in the history of professional wrestling schools can offer. And now that opportunity is in downtown Davenport. You can do that right here in Davenport, Iowa.
And what more can you tell us about this coffee shop?
It's like a hipster coffee shop. So
well, they all are, but I mean,
okay.
What sort of variety of beans does he have? Is he going for Iowa? What's he got going?
You're a perfect customer for this coffee shop. It's exactly that. It's for people like you. For me, this is what I do on a Sunday night. I brew a full pot of black coffee.
Oh no.
And then I turn it off. And then on Monday when I wake up, I pour a little bit in a cup. I put it in the microwave for 55 seconds. It heats up to a nice room temperature, not too hot, not too cold, and then I drink that.
I'm sorry, I said he looked the same. He actually looks like a granddad now.
That's what I do. I don't got time to make coffee every day. That's ridiculous. And it's too expensive to go out there and buy me a $5 coffee every morning, so I can't deal with that. And sometimes I'll drink 1.5 cups of coffee, Jon G.
It's going to be a drip? Is it going to be a pot?
Drip, for sure.
Oh,
drip,
good.
for sure.
Yes,
I know that.
For me.
I, simpleton Marek Brave in the world of coffee, understand what a drip is. It will be that, and then like other weird shit. So it's going to be great. He's super stoked about it. And for a man who's traveled the entire world and visited a coffee shop on every stop, if he can put his name and his brand and his identity behind this 392, it's 392 Cafe or 392 Davenport. If he can put his name and his money, quite frankly, behind this project, you know the coffee is going to be good. You know you won't be disappointed. So there you go, Seth Rollins. Don't say I never did anything for you.
You heard it here
when
first.
When does that open?
This is breaking news.
Fall, sometime in the fall. I don't think there's a specific date yet, but I believe the end of September or October.
Just in time for pumpkin spice lattes?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Not a bad time to open a coffee shop, right?
All right. The main thing we want to talk about today is obviously SCW's 15th anniversary this Friday night, August 24th at the legendary Call Ballroom. If you had to pinpoint it, one thing, what is the one thing you're most excited for, Marek?
I am excited to see the 15 years of hard work from the men and women of SCW's past and SCW's present. I'm excited to see the hard work from all of these men and women, these individuals, come to fruition at our biggest event in history. I'm excited to see the hundreds of SCWPro fans, new and old, who will be there to get to experience and enjoy the art of professional wrestling, something that can bring all of us together and can get us all in one room. And whether we like it or we don't like it, we're talking about it. We're conversing like people in 2018 tend to not do anymore. We're conversing face to face and enjoying something together, experiencing something together.
And it is at the Call, right?
And it is at the Cole Ballroom.
The Call is an experience.
They don't call it the legendary Cole Ballroom for no damn reason, all right? It is legendary. You've had Johnny Cash, you've had Elvis, you've had B.B. King, you've had Metallica. They've all played that venue, and now it's the home of SCWPro's biggest events of the year. and it's the biggest event that we've ever put on. It's our 15th anniversary, so we want to see as many people there as possible, young and old, kids to grandparents. We want to see everybody there. It is a family-friendly event. We'll get you out of there on time. We're not going to keep you there until midnight. We'll get you out of there at a reasonable time, but we're not gonna shortchange you either. You're gonna get a lot of action. You're gonna get a lot of hard-hitting, high-flying action, and it's gonna be fun. I guarantee it's going to be fun. That's what I always tell people. If you've never seen live pro wrestling outside of WWE, you have to give it a chance because it's very different from what you see on TV. It's very different from what you've seen on the backyard wrestling videos. It's very different from what you've seen on YouTube. When you watch professional wrestling live, you truly get an idea of the imagination, the creativity, the athleticism that goes into being a professional wrestler and goes into putting on these events. I'm very proud of every member of the SCW Pro roster. I'm very proud of every person who will step foot into that ring on Friday night and in all shows beyond, because they're living their dream, and we want to bring our fans along for those journeys. And so we're excited to have you there. SCW-Pro.com. Reserve your seats today. As of now, it looks like first row is very nearly sold out. By the time this podcast comes out, I would guarantee that it'll be sold out. Second row is well on its way as well. And even if you're just thinking, I'm just going to get a general admission seat, there's benefits to pre-ordering your ticket as well, because it's $15 at the door for a general admission ticket. But if you reserve in advance, it's only $13. You save $2 a ticket. If you're bringing a family of 5, that's a $10 savings. You can use that on refreshments or food during the event. And then also, last time we ran the Cole Ballroom, we sold out of general admission seating before the event started. So we had people coming up to the door looking to buy general admission tickets, and they were gone. And so they had to upgrade to third row, fourth row, whatever, and there was an additional charge to that. So if you're thinking you'll be able to come to the door and just get a general admission seat, it's possible, but for some people it's not going to be able to happen. So certainly visit our website, scw-pro.com. Get your advance ticket, get your advance seat, reserve your spot. Make sure you're sitting where you want to sit for SCW's biggest event in history, SCW's 15-year anniversary event.
When advance tickets get for priority seating, don't they get in first? Is that
yes,
correct?
For anyone who has pre-purchased a ticket anywhere in the building, whether it's first row, second row, third row, or general admission seating, you will be admitted before the regular, I don't want to say regular, but before people who hadn't purchased their seats. You will be admitted early. You will get first selection in the row that you reserved your seats for.
Absolutely. What a great opportunity. Doors at 6:35, bell time 7:30, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, the legendary Call Ballroom on 4th Street in Davenport. Marek, where can these fine folks find you on social media?
I am on all, well, I don't want to say all because I don't have a Facebook, and that's apparently
no book face.
Apparently that's kind of popular, but I don't have one of those. But if you'd like to find me,
what's your MySpace?
Oh my gosh, I definitely had a MySpace. This is why I don't have Facebook, because I was doing so well at MySpace, and then they were like, that's not cool anymore. Facebook's the cool thing. And I was like, I don't want to start all over. I have like 15,000 friends on this thing. I don't want to start at zero. So I vowed to never get a Facebook. That has continued into the year 2018.
It's going to outlast you, Facebook.
There are tiny children who have Facebooks, but I am a 32-year-old man who doesn't. But on all other social media, and by all other, I literally just mean Twitter and Instagram. You can, or Venmo, or I don't know.
Venmo.
They can send you money. Do you want them to send you?
Yes, please send money. I don't even have apps. I don't have apps. I have too many things on my phone. I have too many pictures and event posters and whatnot that I have like the MLB app and the Papa John's app, and like that's it. So if you want to send me some pizza on the Papa John's app,
you got the ESPN app too, though.
No, I don't have the ESPN app. I promise you. We can go through my phone right now. Does this make good podcast listening? I got PayPal. I got my bank app. Do you need my ID for that? No, never mind. We'll keep that to myself.
So where do we follow you at?
On Twitter, mbrave13. On Instagram, mbrave13. You can follow the Black and the Brave Wrestling Academy on Instagram at Black and Brave Wrestling, on Twitter at Black and Brave. We also have a website for Black and Brave, blackandbravewrestling.com. You can sign up for future classes there and kind of keep up to date on all Black and Brave news. Or if you'd like to purchase a nifty Black and Brave t-shirt, hat, socks, keychain, other things, you can visit blackandbraveapparel.com to take care of that stuff. And then, of course, SCW. We do have a Facebook, facebook.com/SCWPro, Instagram at SCWPro, Twitter at SCWPro, and our website where you can pre-order your advance tickets for our 15th anniversary event happening this Friday at the legendary Cole Ballroom in downtown Davenport, Iowa, featuring special guest Vicky Guerrero of the legendary Guerrero family. Anyways, that website, www.scw-pro.com.
John, we should have done ours first.
Yeah.
We got to follow that now.
Yeah.
John, go ahead.
No, that's fine. You do it.
Okay.
Wait. I should go before.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can follow me at The Real Jon G 123 on Twitter.
Because that's what refs do. They count 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Jon
It's
G,
creative.
the guy who counts 1, 2, 3.
It's very creative.
Yeah, there you go.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at OneRealSmartAlex, the number 1 Real Smart Alex. Follow the Slam Fam on Instagram at SlamFamWrestling. Follow us on Twitter at SlamFamRest, WREST. And like the Slam Fam Wrestling Network on Facebook. Merrick, John, I am so excited for this Friday night. SCW's 15th anniversary. We can't wait to see everyone there.
It's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to see everybody. Get your tickets, scw-pro.com.
So much to do. You need to write yourself so you can save someone else. Here's to you. Did you wake up feeling bruised? Did you wake up feeling abused? It's awful what we will see. Every detail, every beat. Living out here when you're in it. That's in the frozen minute. But you realize my point of view. You have so much work to do. You need to write yourself and try to save someone else. But until you do, well, here's to you.